I'd like to reintroduce to you Dr. Margaret Betts. Good morning,
Good
Dr.
morning.
Betts.
Good morning. How are you?
Oh, I'm just
I feel
fine.
good that I'm a friend of the show.
You're a friend of the
Yes,
show.
yes.
Right, right, right. And how have you been? What's
Good.
been happening?
Work, relaxation. You know,
You
the
know, it's
world. Yes.
something we have to learn to relax, don't we?
Yes.
H-
Yes.
How do you do that?
You just stop. You stop and realize that you stop. You stop and realize that if it's meant to happen, it'll happen when you get to it. If it doesn't, it won't. You know, things happen the way they're supposed to happen, not the way you want them to happen.
Yeah.
And when you try to wrestle it down, really you're wrestling with yourself.
And your body will tell you.
Yes.
Your body
You got to listen to your
definitely will
body.
tell
Right,
you.
right.
It will definitely tell you. And one of the things I wanted to talk about this morning was were the seniors. More senior than me or you, but
Because we're getting
seniors
there.
now, because my mom was living independently in a condo. We had somebody coming over, but now and she still is of right mind, but she got ill in October, and right now she's in the rehabilitation center. And we know that she can't go back to living independently as she wants to.
Well, it all depends. My oldest patient was 115, and she fell at 111 and broke her hip. Did not allow the doctors to do a hip surgery on her because she said, you don't know how to do surgery on a 111-year-old person. She's laid in her bed for 2 years, then she got up and walked.
Isn't that something?
It is. So it all depends on
Well,
what your mom wants to do and what you want
Well, she
for
wants
her.
to. Well, she's able to walk with her walker, but her knees are just extremely bad right now.
And probably what happened, most times seniors are home, they don't move around a lot, they are fearful, so they close themselves in. They don't go to church as much, they don't go to their bridge clubs or whatever activities.
Well, she was doing all of that. I took her keys just this past January, but she was doing all of that. But she was riding her bike every day. She has a bike. My brother put it on a mount, and she ride that every day. And see, her former occupation was that of nurse, so she was
Good,
walking
good.
all of the time, doing everything right. I think that's contributed
But
to
why
her
did you take her
longevity
keys?
because I don't like to tell this story, but one day she wanted to go to the grocery store. I said, "Mother, I'll take you." It was January, and so I kept on calling and couldn't reach her. So my daughter and I got in the car, went out there. She wasn't at home. We went through the parking lots at Target, Home Depot, and everything. We found her car at Myers. And as my daughter went in to find her, my daughter called me and said, "Mom, she's sitting on a bench and all these people are around her." And I said, "What's happening?" She can't walk that well. And she had asked one of the store workers could you go get my car and bring it up here? She was,
Oh, wow.
I mean, and she had been through every aisle and everything. She literally shopped till she dropped.
Stop till she dropped.
And so we got her home. She still couldn't walk that well, but her strength came back. But I said, "This is it with the keys." And then next thing I know, she was kind of falling at different times and stuff like that. She's still trying to do everything she always did. And sometimes our body tells us we can't do that.
Well, to me, excuse me, that is an indication for an examination if she's falling.
Yeah.
Because you really don't know why she's falling. Could be dehydration or it could be anything from
Well, no, this is how she was falling. There's a reason. She had this chair. She went to sit on it. It was too far back, and she fell. Another time, this other chair, she fell. It was about the chair, or she bracing on something that she shouldn't have.
But last year, did she sit in the same chair? And did she
Yeah,
fall
she
last
was-
year?
no.
Okay, so that's an indication that there may have been something going on
Yeah,
for her to be
true.
evaluated. That's what I'm saying.
Well, her doctor, I went with her to the doctor, and the doctor did check her, but I don't know. You don't know. I just don't know about doctors, some doctors, And but the thing is, her spirits are high. She's still, she just wants something to do. She loves her MSNBC. You know, certain things she just loves doing and
Yes, she
stuff.
may be a candidate, and we talked right before the show aired, but she may be a candidate for assisted living facility instead of a nursing home. You know,
Oh,
nursing
okay.
home on one side it's rehab, and you stay there for about 90 days, and the other side is long term, and they live there, and I mean, it's like a hospital. You can't go out, you can't go overnight, etc. But assisted living, you have maybe a small apartment, a one-bedroom apartment, and someone comes and cleans your house, helps you with the bath if you would like, and there's activities probably on the first floor.
Right, and
So
this.
there's a lot of opportunities or
Well, my mother says I took after my father because she is not a social butterfly. She doesn't care what they playing bingo, whatever down there. She's not going to do it. She just won't do it.
wow, but that keeps you that keeps you alert and alive.
Yeah,
And it helps jog your brain to grow more. You know, when you're
right.
stressed, the brain grows more brain cells. You're not at the IQ that you have at birth. The IQ that you have at birth may not be the IQ you have at death, because if you are interested in other activities and learn new projects, the brain grows new brain
I
cells.
know. Well, she has enough time staying in everybody's business. That's what
But it's
everybody in the
activity.
family.
But it's activity.
Everybody in the family. Did you take your medicine today? Did you? I mean, she'll call me. Are you home? I mean, it's different things like that. But let's talk quickly on when should people kind of take over with their parents. I hate to say take over, but sometimes they're stubborn. And it's a thing that says if you stay in your own place, your longevity may be, have a better longevity.
That's a hard question because there are the take over. You got to ask. You got to put yourself in that situation. When would you like someone to take over your life?
No, no, okay, no, I'm just kidding about that.
Your son's listening. He's coming to get your keys
Oh,
after
no.
the show.
Oh, but
that
I
is a
would
hard
like a
question.
chauffeur who drives.
When you find, and similar what you just shared, your mother went out and became incapacitated, so you took her keys, and probably you should have taken them way before that. But we were taught to obey your parents.
Right, right.
So if she says no, you just back off. But you got to really be realistic. Probably in her 60s or 70s, you write a will or put your name, and that's what I've done. I've put my son's names on my charge cards, my bank accounts, etc. So you do things real slowly, and then after when the time comes, you don't have to tie all these loose ends up. We will all get to that point that we're going to need some help. And probably about 90% of us. And even my 115-year-old patient, her granddaughter, who was 68, was taking care of her. She was living by herself, but they would always come and check on her. So we have to understand we were, as the young lady said, we were superwomen, and in our minds we still think we are.
I know. The mind is like,
We're gonna have to lay that honor down or pass it on, and take our rightful place in the age that we are. Now, I'm not saying go home and get a rocking chair, but realize that you got to put some things in place. So, if in fact you become your mother, what would you like to have happen? So this is a
right.
perfect opportunity to begin to have those conversations with somebody you trust, and I think that's the pervasive conversation or the comments that I have in my practice is senior patients don't have anybody they can trust. They may have family members, but they're afraid to give all of that to them because they don't know what they're going to do with it. So that's a major
Well,
problem.
my mother's been pretty with me and my brother,
Yeah,
but
in general, I'm saying in general.
in my case, I'm the only child here. My brother lives out of state, but he's here right now, till we get her straight
Yes,
and see
yeah.
what's going to happen and stuff like that. So, senior living, okay, assisted living, say if they have a house, And assisted living, it's so expensive. What if they haven't saved for all of that?
That creates a problem. And
Yeah.
then so you would really, nursing home living is, I do nursing home. I have patients in the nursing home, and these are patients that that have helped raise me over the years. And lots of time, no one comes to see them. Or they're in a room with another person who's screaming and hollering, or a room with a person
I
who,
know, it's
it
like
just,
a madhouse, an asylum.
because the majority of patients in the nursing home have dementia. So they may have dementia with confusion, aggression, anger, lots of different symptoms. And you give them medication until they're zonked out, then you take the medication off until they start screaming again. And you just go back and forth because nothing really stops the dementia. Now, if you don't want to get it, there's a lot of things that you got to do to prevent it. But if you're already there, you're already there.
Right, right.
You have to decide with you and your brother and your mother what is best for her.
Right.
Assisted living will give her, and I don't want to mention any particular place, but there are assisted living facilities where you have a bedroom and a bathroom.
Right.
And then you go down. Somebody will come and get you to go to dinner.
Right.
A doctor comes in once a month or whenever, however you need. They have activities. They have outings, etc.
Right.
And it gives the senior a little bit more independence.
Independence and
Yes,
freedom.
and freedom instead
Right.
of the nursing home. They can't go out. They can't, go and cook if you want. If you bring them some food, they can't warm it. A lot of times, some of the nursing homes don't have phones, so they have to go to a phone center and wait their turn. There's a lot of differences, but
Right.
you have to feel comfortable. You and your
Oh,
family have
yeah.
to feel comfortable.
Yeah. Well, that's what
I'm not
we're-
saying that don't do it, and certainly expenses are going to determine and dictate
Yeah, I
what
know.
you do.
But we just want her to have the best of what we
Yeah.
can do.
Yes.
So, and I'm saying this for people out there because people are living longer. Our parents are getting older. You have to do it in the best way for you
Yes,
and
yes.
them because you want to keep their morale up.
Right, right.
But you don't want to break down. And
caretaker-
tell them what happens to the caretaker sometimes.
The caretaker usually dies first, gets sicker,
You heard that?
because you're taking care of your life and you're taking care of another whole person's life who really sometimes fights you because they see you as the little girl. I'm your mother. You're not my mother. I'm your father.
I know.
So you know what's best for them.
I'm telling my kids that now. I said, no, my son, I said, I'm your mother, not your friend.
Yeah, but your son must see something that is
I
of
disagree.
concern.
No, it's when you disagree.
Oh, it's when
Sometimes.
you disagree?
When you have children who think they know everything, sometimes they get a certain age, they think they know everything.
But that starts at about 15.
Yeah.
And we were there once.
Oh, I did know everything.
Yes,
My
I
mother didn't know anything. But then I found out I couldn't beat the beater.
Right,
I couldn't do it. So right now, if a person, because my mother's still in her right mind, she's fine. But what if?
But you're contradicting yourself, though. When you said that she was confused, she went to the grocery store
Well, her legs gave out.
and had told somebody to go and get her car. That's not.
No, well, she knew what she was doing. She
Oh, okay.
said
All
if
right.
they she could get back home before I get there. And then my daughter drove her car home. When we got home, okay, they put the bags in my car that she had because
Yeah.
she had a pile of bags from Meyer. Then when we opened up the car door, at the trunk of her car, there were bags of Target. She had been to Target. She had been all over the world. She had been that was my
Well,
mother.
but shopping is empowering, and sometimes that's why we shop.
Yeah, I guess
know.
so. I guess so, but I think with her, she just so independent. She doesn't like to wait for anybody, and I think that's a lot of us anyway.
Right. Because you've done everything for yourself all of your life. So she's 95, so she's done everything for herself probably 75, 80 of those years.
Right.
And it's hard to wait for someone because you may not come. You may not come when she wants you to be there. And you may not take her where she wants to go. So she
Right.
says, I'm going to do it myself because I did it yesterday and the day before, etc. It is hard, and this is a country that doesn't value its seniors. My son
I know.
taught in Korea, and I went and stayed a couple of weeks with him, maybe 8 or 9 years ago, and they value their seniors. Korea is a place like China with too many people, not enough land, so they are stacked on each other, and that we have 11 inches personal space. So if I get close to you, you're going to move back. They don't have any personal space. When they get home, they eat, and they're out in the community until 11 or 12 o'clock. I was there one day, and these two little singers were locked arm in arm, swinging their purses on the outside.
Oh, that was
And
too
here's
cute.
this big crowd of kids coming. I'm behind them. Here's this big crowd of kids coming. And they ran, and then they just parted. And these little seniors just kept going. They didn't shiver. They weren't afraid. They just kept going because they knew what was going to happen. Those kids just ran and they just parted. They really do honor their seniors. Here we don't.
You know what bothers me is, well, there's some seniors, what I've noticed in this place, no one comes to visit them.
I have such a patient. She's 101. She lives in a rehab. She's the oldest of 13. She's outlived all her sisters and brothers. She's outlived two of her children, and one of her kids lives in Michigan, but 300 or 400 miles away. There's nobody to come and visit her. It really, well, her church members, periodically, but
Well-
it's just, to have that many family members, and now you're the only one, And she said the other day, she says, "So, Dr. Betts, I turned 101 6 days ago, and I'm still here." I said, "And you're going to stay here until God says you leave."
Right,
But
right,
she's thinking,
right.
okay, tomorrow's the day. Tomorrow's the day. It
Really?
hasn't
You
happened. It hasn't
can't do that. You can't say, it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Right,
It's
right.
happening soon. Boy, oh
But
boy.
it's now that the baby boomers, or we, are getting older, the research suggests that if we had a senior high rise on every corner, in the year 2020 there will not be enough room to house the seniors who need it. So this is big business: senior care, senior housing, senior comfort, and trying to figure out how best to arrange your parents' care will also help you how to determine to arrange your care.
Wow.
I tell my kids,
well,
I have 3
I
kids.
tell you, I've learned so much from just this experience, and
Yeah, we're going to do a conference in June on advanced care, because that's what your mother's needing. She doesn't need hospice.
no.
She doesn't need palliative care. Palliative is when you have severe pain, you need pain medication. But she needs advanced care. She needs someone to take care of her. She needs a caregiver, whether the caregiver be in the nursing home facility, in an assisted living facility, or in her home. She still needs that. And we're going to try to raise that awareness and try to make some inroads into referral sources as it relates to patients in need, because you probably don't know where to go. As October, you started learning what you didn't know, what you needed to know to take care of your mother.
Right, right. And we may be centering in on me, but really, in many ways, this is for so many of you
Yeah,
out there.
The plural you.
Yes, it's the plural me. And it's just something that's very important. And I am a baby boomer. You're a baby boomer. And we'll be there before you know it.
1944 to 1964. Those are the boomers.
Yeah, yeah. Being born in 64 was, no, I'm just kidding.
Oh, no, that's my year.
But, you don't feel like old, you don't feel like old, so.
Well, we really are not. Medical science has advanced to the point that now we know the science of nutrition, and food is medicine. So if you eat the right food, you're going to feel good.
Okay.
And I always tell my patients, you may not look like Beyonce or one of the guys. I don't know who they are, but you should be able to move like them.
Yeah,
Take care of
I
yourself.
do.
See, see there. All you have to do is say her name, and here she.
Yeah,
she's moving like her.
I know. Oh, well, anyway, Dr. Betts, what's your phone number if people want to know more?
I'm in Oak Park, and my phone number is 967-1888. And our office is open, well, during the holidays, of course, it's closing, but we're open Monday through Friday, 9 till we close.
And Dr. Betts will be back in a few weeks, so we'll be able to talk longer on this. But Dr. Betts, thanks again
You're
as
quite
usual.
welcome.
You've oh,
God bless you.
Oh,
God bless you. And
God
your
is
mother.
blessing. God is blessing.
Yes, yes.
You know, He is. And we'll be back with